July 19th, 2010. This is a RBOSE meeting. RBOSE stands for Resource-Based Open Source Environment. Next up, this meeting is going to be about Paxton. It's going to be more of an FAQ, frequently asked questions. He's going to talk about Auroville and try to explain some things of what he's experienced since he's actually went to Auroville.
In Auroville, one must be a willing servitor of the divine consciousness. Does that mean that you have to subscribe to a certain religion of theirs or a religious practice of theirs? It seemed kind of separatist when I was reading that.
Many people stumble over that exact sentence, and I'm going to explain it a little bit more in more detail. I guess in a separate meeting. As for today, I can say that the mother herself said in 1968 that she always hears that people say, "Oh, that reminds me of God," and she said, "It doesn't remind me of God." So I'm all right with saying it's the highest consciousness or perfect consciousness that Auroville is going to achieve and or to bring down upon humanity. And that's all that is within the sentence. But she didn't replace the word as it has this setting is a spiritual setting, and in some way it has to show in the charter.
Yeah, it just seems like I get a bit of a mixed message reading that, because right above it says, it has the same zeitgeist movement message, we do not recognize politics or all national, that same message is right above the charter itself. So it's kind of, because I see that word divine and I think God automatically, but yeah, I can see how semantics can get us confused about that.
Yes, it's hard. It's easy to get confused over this, and so the majority of people there are familiar with the teachings of Sri Aurobindo, who invented the word, or the phrase, so to speak, and within the context, it's perfectly clear that it doesn't mean a personal God or a religion, but some idea about where mankind is going to head. I think this is an interesting question, and as I said, I'll make another meeting, especially on the topic of science and spirituality. I think there are many connections among those two, but there's large parts of misunderstanding because of words that are interpreted in different ways. So I'll say some words upon that today, but it's somewhere, I guess, near the end or the middle of this meeting.
And that's good to elaborate on, because it just reminds me of the whole conflict with Earth 2.0, Kezium trying to redefine what spirituality is, and pointing at people saying, "Oh, they're just verbal masturbators," or stupid shit like that. So, we have to really define what those words mean so that in the future we're not talking about this again. But yeah, I'll be looking forward to that next meeting. I didn't know my question would be that big of a question, but that was the only thing I was worried about. But that's the only question I really had. Everything else,
you guys are on record for a few minutes now, D.
Well, I can only hope that I can clear up some of the misunderstandings or missing information. I can only post my personal experience with Auroville. It's of course it's subjective, but I try my best to to go into subjects like the one you asked for. And yes, that thing with the spirituality is really a problematic topic in relation between more spiritual and more scientific projects, which are trying to make this world a little bit better. And if I listen to Peter Joseph, for instance, there is a mixed message about spirituality. You can, for instance, listen into his radio shows, and he says, "Oh, that's all a whole lot of crap." And on the other hand, in this film, Who is Peter Joseph? He's somehow confessing that, or saying he is in some way a spiritual person too, but his definition of it is totally crap. I noticed that many people don't know what we're actually talking about when we're talking about spirituality, and that's how some of the questions come down to what does this word mean, and what does the mother mean by divine consciousness, for instance.
Right, and and he's always going to hide behind that word emergent or emergence. So he's always going to redefine words, give more mixed signals, and yeah, I mean, he just gives me a headache. I really can't follow the guy anymore. But yeah, I just wanted to see what that really meant, and you cleared it up for me, so that's good.
Well, it's all right to define words as you like, and say. What I don't know. I have a battery in front of me on the desk, and I say, "This is God." This is wonderful as long as I declare or have a definition that is in everybody's mind I'm talking to. That when I'm saying God, I mean this battery. But it's not all right if I talk about God and mean this battery, and nobody else but me knows about that definition. And that's what's happening very often. People talking about something and creating pictures in other people's heads, which don't fit the thing we're talking about. And so sometimes Zeitgeist does the same, or not the whole movement, but some figures there. And it's I see this a little bit with
entered channel
with a problematic eye.
Channel Culkin, hello, get offish. Channel, get offish. Hi.
I got a fish.
Hi, man.
A Tom Raider entered channel.
Yeah, I'm just now scrolling down this list of questions on the Etherpad, and it's like, 7 questions based on that subject alone, so I don't see why you would want to do a whole other meeting about that. But yeah, I'm just gonna get ready to go now. That was the only question I had. It just seems like, after reading that, like you would have to somehow subscribe to what they believe in particularly. And I was just reading somewhere else that someone had that there's another project out there called Auroville. Someone brought it up from the Russia chapter of the Zeitgeist movement, and they seem to be based on religious beliefs as well, but they seem scientific as well too. So it seems like there's a lot of people that have that vibe, and as soon as a dash of religious beliefs or whatever vibe like that, spirituality vibe that the Zeitgeist movement sees, is like, oh, you're metaphysical. So it just seems like we're always going to be separating ourselves at it because of that. When, the word zeitgeist means spirit of the time, so it just
Kadap _ Ray.
Yes, it is. If they didn't make an enemy of everybody who's splitting off or branching off, this would be no problem at all, because as long as we're not working against each other, as long as we're not wasting our energy on fighting each other, there's no need for such reactions like they have.
Channel Grandman Flomer, New Sphere Society Movement, Russian-based.
People totally rooted in science and others on spirituality, or there's people who listen to their emotions mainly, and try to live them in a way that's changing the world. As long as we're heading for the same goal in the end, there's no need for fighting each other. It's so useless. They say all the time, hey, we gotta unite and no more division in this world. Yet, if you want to work together with us, you have to join us. Okay, you can say that, but then you're someone who is